every beast for himself. Ginger Wald and her identical twin brothers, Nat and Pat, are lost in the woods. No problem. After all, Ginger did go to that stupid nature camp. Still, there's some odd things about this part of the woods. The grass is yellow, the bushes are purple, and the trees are like skyscrapers. Ginger and her brothers meet the beasts. They're big, blue, furry creatures, and they want to play a game. The winner gets to live. The losers get eaten.
Welcome to Goosebumps Overviews, the show where we talk about Goosebump books and judge them on their merit. Tonight's episode is book number 43, The Beast from the East. And yes, that's right, I don't have the cover for this book. Again. It's probably from doing that. The cover is, well, it really sets that Alice in Wonderland tone that's in this book. But the creature? My god, he looks like a Care Bear. He's cute. He's cute and fluffy and I just want to cuddle him. It's not scary at all. It's not. It just looks like a grumpy Care Bear. Should I be afraid? It looks more like the baby beast that's discussed in this book rather than the beast that we're described to. So, I mean, is it? Is that what it's supposed to? Is it supposed to be a baby beast? I don't know. But, beast aside, I really like the design of this fantastical jungle, Alice in Wonderland world. That's pretty neat. We got some umbrellas, we got some branches there. It's all pretty cool. Ginger and her twin brothers, Nat and Pat, I had so many problems with that, are going with their parents on a camping trip to the woods. How many Goosebump books have we seen in the woods? I feel like there's been a bunch already. Or with camping trips, for that matter. Anyway, we're introduced to our characters. Ginger is a more resolute, typical teenage girl like most Goosebump book characters. And then there's Nat and Pat. We get, well, Ginger seems to have, like, a really troubled relationship with these boys. It seems that they're both rambunctious children who like running around and causing problems. Also, who names identical twins with identical names? If you do that, you're an asshole. Not just to the kid, but to everyone who knows the kid. Don't do that. I know like 4 pairs. Is that what you call them? Pairs? I know like 4 pairs of twins. 2 of which are identical. And if they had similar sounding names, I would have never gotten to know them at all. Just no. Don't do it. Just don't. Also, Nat Pat, I keep thinking of Matt Pat from Game Theory whenever I hear that, so it's kind of funny. But what I was saying is, like, throughout this book, usually it's either going to be Ginger and Nat or Ginger and Pat together, you know, separate until, like, you know, a little bit in the beginning and a little bit at the end. But we'll talk about that later. So, Ginger's parents tell her to take the little brothers into the woods and lose them. Joking, of course, in which Ginger does that, and of course, ironically, with that ominous foreshadowing in the background, they do get lost. And that's when the story begins. I do like that it actually gets off to a really good start. It starts off pretty fast, which is really good, compared to a lot of books which spend a little too much time building up, like Bad Hair Day. But anyway, they get lost in this. They get lost in the woods, and they find themselves into this Alice in Wonderland fantastical area, full of like orange rocks, rust-colored grass, and umbrella trees, weird coat rack-looking trees and purple cabbage sprouting everywhere. It's pretty goofy. Really, it kind of steps into the fantasy realm, which I was a bit surprised. And then to discover that there's a few creatures in this forest. Some beasts. Like the beasts on this cover. Yeah, thank God there's a picture there. At one point, Ginger's cornered by one of the beasts. Backed into a corner, one of them approaches him. He gets really close. Closer. 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 And then it taps her and says tag. What? Yeah, it taps her and it says tag. You know, tag, you're it. Bit confusing. Turns out the monsters are playing a game, and Ginger and Nat and Pat are now involved in this game. And they better tag another beast before sundown, or their dinner. Essentially, this story is like playing a game with a bratty kid who keeps changing the rules, because that's what happens throughout this story, where the siblings will stumble upon some event or something, and it turns out that's a rule that the beast didn't explain, because the beasts assume that the kids know how to play this game, which kind of leads into our plot twist. Coming to that. There's a bunch of goofy things like the penalty rock, free lunch squares, stuff like that. It's all rather childish and in the fantasy realm, which I didn't really expect from a Goosebump book, and I'm not really behind that idea. That idea doesn't really intrigue me, but I'm not gonna let that bias me towards this book, because I feel like with the subject matter, the book actually does pretty well. It's just I'm not really interested by it, like I've said. And I would give this a relatively good score overall, but then it follows the same problems the other book has, like every other book has had, where it feels too rushed, and the ending makes very little sense, and the twist at the end is so predictable. I saw it coming like 4 chapters previously. So it's an okay book, but it's just not really my thing personally. Spoiler sections. Here we go. So it turns out the beasts end up capturing the children, all of them, but then they let them go because the fact that Nat and Pat are twins, that means they're higher level players, and they get to go free because these beasts are level 1 players that only get to play during the day, so they can't possibly eat level 3 players, I guess. That is a complete deus ex machina that just... What even? That is so stupid. But again, this whole book is stupid. I feel like the antagonists are a bunch of children, which they probably are, in fact, children. Yeah, they have to be children. So, Ginger, Nat, and Pat, they all leave, and they come across a level 3 player that tags them. The end. Because I guess the level 3 players play at night or whatever. So yeah, very predictable. As soon as those beasts told them about the fact that the level 3 players play at night, and it's now currently night, I knew this was gonna happen. So predictable as shit. Rating the book, I'm giving it a 6 out of 10. I'm not behind the idea. The ending's stupid and rushed, but there are a few good scares in there. I guess it can really work with kids about how, like, you know, a lot of kids may have dealt with, you know, playing in a group outside, and, you know, that one asshole keeps changing the rules, and there's that constant, no fair, argument. That happens a lot in this. But there's actually real scares with this because the kids are being threatened with being eaten. So yeah, 6 out of 10. It's an okay read. Fantastico. Anyway guys, that's going to do it for my review of Goosebumps book number 43, The Beast from the East. Make sure to stay tuned and subscribe for next episode, book number 44, Say Cheese and Die Again. Have a scary day.